Hey, good morning. It is Friday, June 19th. We have survived the week, but we are continuing to journey with Paul and all the rest of the apostles in the book of Acts. We are in chapter 15 today, and we're going to read chapter 15 in its entirety. The majority of the chapter is about the first ever council in Jerusalem where the apostles had to address the issue of circumcision. It's an important portion of the Bible to read and to understand how the people of God came to understand how to do problem solving, especially in this regard when we see that the kind of the root of the Pharisees still has a little bit of a grip on the way that some people think. So read that carefully and learn from it. But what I want to focus in on, I'm afraid, is at the very end of the chapter. And it's about Paul and Barnabas. Paul gets the idea that they should go back to all the cities that they have witnessed to during the course of their first missionary journey. And Barnabas thinks it's a great idea. And Barnabas then invites John Mark to come along with. Now, we were introduced to John Mark in chapter 13 when they began their missionary journey. He came with them and he very quickly dropped out from the event and went back to Jerusalem. Paul didn't want John Mark to join them on their kind of reunion tour because he felt John Mark had betrayed them by leaving them early. Barnabas, on the other hand, felt that John Mark had now had a couple of years to grow and mature, and this would be an opportunity for him to advance in his faith. At verse 39, we read this.
Their disagreement was so sharp that they separated. Barnabas took John Mark with him and sailed for Cyprus. Paul chose Silas, and as he left, the believers entrusted him to the Lord's gracious care. Then he traveled throughout Syria and Cilicia, strengthening the churches there.
Regretfully, these two men, great friends, ended up having a disagreement that was so strong that they could no longer travel together. This is a sad moment, and it also goes to the integrity of Scripture and Luke as the writer of the Acts of the Apostles to not leave this out, but to show that, yes, even we, the followers of Christ, can still be overwhelmed by our own stubbornness. I imagine that both Paul and Barnabas look back on that event with some regret. And I know that God probably wasn't happy to see how their very important union came to an end. But that said, God still works all things for good. And imagine now there are two separate missionary journeys going on through Judea and the whole region. Barnabas training up John Mark, and Paul now training up Silas and going different directions, sharing the good news. The message for us, though, is that even though we are faithful followers of Christ, we will sometimes disagree. Let's not let those disagreements separate us. Let's learn from these lessons and remember that it's always going to be about sharing God's love. So, share that love. Know that there'll be disagreements among us at times, but that's fine. Let them not destroy or separate us. Let nothing tear us asunder. And let us know that God's love always prevails. Have a great day, everyone.